person trying to sell me something wonderful. Okay, so back to it. Just to wrap up, so we can determine the relative strength of the association based on the Cramer's V. So anything Cramer's V will always be between 0 and 1. Always positive 0 to 1. Values that are closer to 1 indicate a really, really strong relationship, whereas values, obviously closer to 0, relatively weak. Where you'll see this on a test is you'll calculate a chi-squared value for 2 different things, and then calculate the Cramer's V for 2 different, and then compare them. So, you'll be able to say one's a stronger relationship than the other is where you'll see it. I debated whether to teach you lambda or not, but the calculation's a little tricky on that. So in terms of directionality, don't worry about the calculation for that. Let's just say focus on, so like I said, so the chi-squared being the relationship. Let me change that real quick to superscript. Chi-squared value being the testing for the relationship, and then Cramer's V testing for the strength. The direction, I'm just going to let you kind of eyeball that. So let's say you do, in our example, we got a chi-squared value of 58, which tells you that there is a relationship. And what the previous, like the example I did previously, you get that 58, compare it to the critical value, you find there is a relationship. You reject the null. The next thing you do is calculate that Cramer's V to look at the strength. In order to assess direction, I'm just going to say look at it. But some people get a little hung up on the direction because it's not, I don't know if it's intuitive or I don't know. But basically, a positive correlation would be when both independent variable and dependent variable go up or down together. So they go in the same direction. So like an example of a positive relationship would be, as education level goes up, income level goes up, right? One goes up, the other goes up. I mean, the flip side of that is people with less education have less income, right? So it's positive because they're both going up or down, but together. The key on the negative relationship is that they differ. So that would be like something of, I don't know, as drug use goes up, income goes down. I don't know that that's necessarily true, but just, off the top of my head, as your independent variable goes up, your dependent variable goes down. And then the flip side of that would be as drug use goes down, income goes up. I guess I'm watching too many anti-drug commercials during this lock-in or whatever. But the point is that they differ in direction. In the case of our, in our example, going back to the first and second generation, so this has a direction, first and non-first, and think back to what kind of variable that is. That's an ordinal variable. The problem is with nominal variables, we can't assess direction. There's no direction in sex. So really, directionality only works when we have 2 ordinal variables. On your homework, if I want directionality, I'll specify and I'll make sure they're both ordinal. But if one's a nominal variable, we don't have direction. There's no up or down for sex. They're just different things. But say we had something about opinion about the government and opinion about the response to COVID, right? So like people who have higher opinions about the government are more supportive of the federal policies for the shelter in place right now, and then people with less confidence in the government are less interested or less supportive of the shelter in place stuff. So that would be an example of a positive relationship. I'm just going to leave that be. I think it's such a minor point that I don't want you to worry about it. So let's just say you'll assess whether there's a relationship or not with the chi-squared. And then once you calculate that, if you find there's a relationship, go ahead and assess the strength using the Cramer's V. The direction will be outlined more in the in the table. So you'll be able to look at the table and see like what's going on as far as like the direction. Are people who make more money, are they more educated or less? So we'll just hang on that. I'm not gonna have you do the lambda calculation. It's just too much. So just focus on that. I'm gonna upload your homework assignment and try and get that to me by next week. So we're moving along. Hang in there, and if you have any questions, as always, just shoot me an email. Okay, see ya.